One of the most iconic battles in fantasy history is Helm's Deep. And this year is kind of special. The Lord of the Rings turns 25. And this is also my 2,000 subscriber special. Well, at least one part of it. So to celebrate both, I am remaking the entire Battle of Helm's Deep in Minecraft. Helm's Deep itself is already built. I made it in Season 5 and I've been shaping the terrain around it to match the scene. But this time, I want to take it further than just an SMP base. I also added Isengard out the front of Helm's Deep, and from there, the orcs will march across the land straight into battle. This isn't just a build, it's a full battlefield. So let's start putting the plan together. So here is Helm's Deep. This was my Season 5 mega base that I made on my SMP, and now I'm turning it into a battlefield. The mountains and terrain around the area has had a decent start. However, I'm not too fussed about that right now. You can see we've got the shape going and the idea down. Out the front here is a big open fields, and I've placed also Isengard over here, which I built in the same season. My plan is to use this as the foundation at which the orcs come marching out of. However, there is nothing too much inside here. So that is the general idea on what we're going to be doing. We're going to have orcs marching from Isengard, and your job is to protect Helm's Deep. I don't know exactly how they're going to protect Helm's Deep, but let's go on a quick tour while we're here. So as you can see, we've got the main courtyard out the front here with the wall all along the side here. I did build a lot of mountains around the outside as well. When we come inside, this is the main throne room here, which I will have to add a little bit more detail because I accidentally killed all of the entities that lurk around here, and I've still got some designs from when I was building this as my base. And probably get rid of these, to be honest. So here's the throne, and what my idea is, we're going to have King Theoden sitting here on the throne, and your job is to protect him. You'll have the orcs coming up towards and through the Helm's Deep build, and they are going to try and make their way towards King Theoden on the throne, and your job is to protect him. We've got some other places around here as well. We've also got the upstairs area, and what my idea is, we can use this upstairs area up here to try and have purchases. So during the battle, you can purchase things like warriors, archers, whatever you want up here. And so my idea is to use that up here and make this place actually have a use to it. And then up here, we've got the guest room, I guess is what you could call it. And I'm thinking of having this as like hospitality. So when you get injured down on the battlefield, you have to come up here to heal yourself up, because I'm going to turn off natural regeneration, so the players have to actually physically come up here to heal themselves. They are going to be annoyed at that. I know they will be, because I think they prefer their health to go up via hunger. And yes, I will give them saturation, so hunger isn't going to be a worry for them. But healing up, they're going to have to go to the top of Helm's Deep. So that's the idea that I've got going on around here. I think it's going to be fun. Let's make a to-do list so then we know exactly what we need to do. Before we go make our to-do list, there's a couple Easter eggs I've added around here. This area here is the Forbidden Pool. I got challenged by my mate to turn this pond here, which was a naturally generating one, into the Forbidden Pool where Gollum was chilling. And then we got up here the campfire, which Frodo was sleeping while Sam and Pippin and Merrin were actually cooking food, and then Frodo yelled at them. And up the top here, we got a mini Weathertop where they fought the Nazgul in Fellowship of the Ring. And so that's the idea and what's going on around here. There's still a couple empty spots like down there and across here, which I'm still going to build. Enough talking, let's make a to-do list. Okay, so we've got a good start to the to-do list. We've got plenty to do. We've got warriors to make. We've got archers to make. We've got the orcs to make. We've got to finish up the terrain around the place. We've got to finish up the camp over here. We've got to finish the forest that is going to loop around the backside. Add small details to Helm's Deep. That is just making the place look better. King Theoden. We've actually got to make King Theoden. The Uruk-hai Berserker, the guy who runs through the place with a bomb and blows up the wall just here. We got to make a data pack that makes the orcs target King Theoden. So we don't want the orcs to just come up and attack the players. We want them to actually target to get to King Theoden. But we also want a couple orcs to still target the players, or else it'll feel like armor is pointless. You won't need to heal up. You know what I mean. Got to make a currency system so you can purchase warriors and purchase archers. I will come back to these soon, because you guys are probably confused on what I mean by warriors and archers. Then we've got classes, men, dwarf, and elf. So anyone who plays this map has the choice between men, dwarf, or elf to play as. So it will come with either a sword, axe, or bow. So those are the main things I've got down at the moment, but this thing is going to extend probably a lot more than what it looks like right now as time goes on. But anyways, let's get started because we've got ourselves a warrior to make, an archer to make, and an orc to make. Let's give myself night vision so then I can actually see, but underneath here, I'm just going to have my command block area. We have got a warrior to make. So how this warrior is going to work is it's going to be an armor stand that attacks the zombies, aka the orcs. And the idea of the warrior is it's a purchase that players can make after defeating a certain amount of orcs. So orcs will be able to drop currency or something like that will give a point to the player, and you can use points or currency to purchase warriors. You place it down and it will go and attack the zombies. So let's start off with making a simple armor stand that looks like a warrior. So here is our armor stand. It is simply just an armor stand with iron armor, an iron sword, and a player head. I've also gone through and made it so he's silent and invulnerable. So yes, I can defeat him in creative mode, but the players are going to be in adventure mode and they won't be able to defeat these guys. We've also given it the tag fighter so then it can tell the difference between a normal armor stand or any other armor stands, but then it separates the fighters or the warriors from all the other armor stands. This will be useful because we need this armor stand to go and attack the orcs. And then you've got all this equipment and everything that you guys don't really need to go over, but it just gives him the iron armor, player head, and iron sword. So we've created our warrior. Well, at least the start of it. This guy is not going to do anything. We need him to attack zombies. You can see he's not doing anything. Well, I've got some good news. We have now figured out how to make the armor stand go towards the nearest zombie. We're basically executing at the armor stand. If there is a zombie that's nearby, then run, TP the armor stand facing the nearest zombie. Oh, I did not mean to type all that out. So this one basically makes it so he faces the zombie. So without this one here, he won't move. So this one here basically TPs the armor stand to go towards the zombie. So without this one here, so if I do that, you'll see that if I grab a zombie and I summon him... Oh, what's happened to the armor stand? Why do you have no chest plate? Oh, there's an A in here. I must have accidentally pressed that. There we go. So he is now going to specifically always look at the zombie. If I hit him to the side, you see that he did that. If I summon in another zombie closer, he will always look towards it. Now, if I enable this one, he's going to always go towards the zombie now, which... yeah, is a little bit chaotic. Now, I was able to fix it because now he actually targets the zombie, but he doesn't spin around in circles inside of him. So how I did that is I added distance equals 1 next to him. So when he's within 1 block of the zombie, he actually can stop charging towards it. But if I get rid of that, you'll see that he'll spin around in circles inside the zombie. As soon as I add this to the end, the zombie should move and he will follow it. However, as you just saw, his gravity doesn't exist. He will float no matter where the zombie is. So that's the next thing we need to fix, and that is make it so the armor stand doesn't just float towards the zombie. So if I summon that guy in and I summon a zombie here, he's on the ground, and then he climbs the staircases to get to him. That was the simplest fix I think I've ever done. That was so easy because all I did, it probably isn't the best way to fix it. It basically detects if the block is not air underneath him, it will TP him up. If the block is air underneath him, it will TP him down. So you can see that it's TPing him into the floor a tiny bit, but I don't mind that because it hides the base plate. I could possibly just hide the base plate via commands, but I don't mind having it visible as well. But then as soon as the zombie is elevated, you can see that he climbs the blocks to get to... Oh, it works so well. Well, that is the armor stand's movement basically done. There is one downside about this movement, and that is the fact that if I summon in the armor stand and I grab another zombie, if I summon the zombie all the way up here, he's going to climb a 4-block tall wall. So that is basically the only downside. But next up, we actually need to do damage. And he also needs to take damage as well. Let's give him some health. So the armor stand now has health, I believe. And what I did is I made it so scoreboard objective. So I created a scoreboard that is called Fighter HP. So when I summon the armor stand, it will also activate this command block, which sets the armor stand to have 500 of the fighter HP. So he's got the HP now, but now he needs to take damage whenever he's near a zombie, which was pretty simple. All I did was make it so if there was a zombie within distance of the player, it will delete 1 HP from his health. And I know we gave him 500, but it goes down 30 times a second, so it would be equivalent to about 20 hearts. And then we just detect if his HP matches 0, then we're going to kill him. That is basically what we're doing. So now's the real test. Does his HP go down? Yep, there he goes. Sweet. His HP does go down. And you can see that he then died. It works. Let's go. So we are almost there. There is one thing we're missing though, and he doesn't do any damage to the zombies. Once again, wasn't too difficult. We're just executing as the zombie at the zombie. If the entity fighter is nearby, it will damage the zombie by 2. 2 doesn't seem like a lot, I know that, but it does ignore the defense that the zombie is holding. So now, once again, I forgot to put always active. There he goes. He's dealing damage to the zombie, which will eventually be the orc. Now, a couple things I should mention. The orcs will have knockback resistance, so they won't be flying around like this continuously, but it works. And there will be a lot more warriors around it as well. I think each warrior, if I summon in zombies, is equivalent to about 3 kills. So there's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. Here's 4, maybe it's more. Here's 5. Okay, so 4.5 kills each armor stand has. So if you have a purchase of, let's say, 10 of these guys, that's 50 orc kills on the spot. I think that's relatively good. I don't want to make it too pricey, but I'll make it so it becomes more and more in range of purchase as you go further into the game. So that is our warrior done. In the future, I will have to convert the armor stand into a spawn egg, because when you purchase it, it will be given to you in a spawn egg, so then you can just spawn in the armor stand, but it works. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, it is time to move on to the next section, which is making the orcs. Now, I'm going to have to go and find a custom texture or make a custom texture to make the zombies look like orcs, but for now, we're going to deal with that later on. I am after 3 different types of orcs. We've got a smaller variant, a normal variant, and a bigger variant. Each of them having more HP the further they go up. However, the smaller ones are going to have more speed. I also want to mix them between an iron sword and a torch in their main hands, and then I want them to have a chance of having a shield in their offhand. So it's going to be randomized between all of that. But this part isn't going to be too difficult. Let's just create some orcs. And here is our little guy. This here is going to be the baby orc. Well, the littler ones anyways. We're going to make sure they look like an orc and not like, oh my goodness, how fast did I make him? I can't even catch up to him. There we go. That's probably a better speed. He is quite fast, but he has littler HP compared to the others. Now on to the main guy. So here is the main guy. He's still going to be quite fast. Actually, that is still quite slow, if I'm being honest. See, that is a little bit better. That's the speed we need. But this guy is a little bit more tankier, even though he's a little slower than the baby guys. But that is sort of what we're aiming for. Now, this guy does have the same armor, and you can see he's got a torch in his hand as well. I'm going to try and get a resource pack that makes the torches look like they're actually flaming, but their armor I'm going to try and make a little bit more randomized, or at least a little bit more structured. And now onto the big guy. So this guy is a little bit bigger, as you can tell. He is going to probably not have a weapon, or I'll make a custom weapon that he will hold, and he's a little bit slower. You can see by his speed he is a lot slower, but he has a lot of HP. Let me enchant Z Squemmy with sharpness 5, and you'll understand how much power this guy... Oh, no, I just killed him. Now you'll be able to see how much health he's got. Yeah, he's got a lot of health. Considering I have a sharpness 5 netherite sword, yeah, he's going to be tough to defeat, but not many of those guys will be on the battlefield. But that is something to worry about next episode. I know this was a shorter introduction for this episode. I am actually going away for the next week, so it's hard to get out a full video, but this is only part 1 out of an entire short series that we've got ahead of us. I can't wait to actually be making on this. We have already got a good chunk of this done, but there is still a lot ahead of us. I've added a couple signs to the to-do list at the bottom where the wall is, because as I said, I will gradually be increasing that because I want to make this game at the best of its ability. But next episode, I plan to actually make the orcs, well, look like orcs. We plan on making some waves, and then they actually charge in towards Helm's Deep. I plan on making the data pack, so the zombies actually attack King Theoden, and so forth. We've also got the archers to make. I did start on them behind me, but I was a bit lazy, and I kind of just wanted to get started on the orcs. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. This is going to be an epic series. I also have unlocked memberships, so if you guys want to see early access to videos, if you want to see behind the scenes stuff, or just in general want to support the channel, then make sure to join the membership. But thank you so much for watching, and we shall see you all in the next video.